Olá, estamos no ar com mais um Enzima Live Show, o nosso programa bissemanal, onde a gente fala sobre inovação, tecnologia, mundo digital e mundo das startups, sempre recebendo profissionais relevantes da indústria e do esporte e do entretenimento para a gente conversar sobre esses assuntos que a gente tanto ama. Antes de eu apresentar os nossos dois convidados de hoje, só lembrar a vocês que essas nossas conversas aqui depois viram podcasts nas principais plataformas de podcast. Então você pode ouvir no Spotify, no Deezer, no Google Podcast. Se vocês perderam aqui no YouTube e preferem ouvir nessas plataformas, elas estarão disponíveis por lá. Hoje, como eu falei, temos dois convidados especialíssimos, Paul Bojarski e Jonathan Williams, eles que são CEO e COO, respectivamente, da Sceenic, uma empresa que criou uma tecnologia incrível, a Watch Together, que permite que pessoas que estão em ambientes diferentes consigam assistir jogos de futebol, outras transmissões esportivas, filmes, séries, no mesmo ambiente virtual, podem interagir entre si, podem verificar as suas reações enquanto um jogo de futebol, por exemplo, acontece. E eles vieram aqui para a gente conversar sobre a empresa, eles vão explicar a visão de futuro da empresa, mostrar, falar sobre como a tecnologia funciona, e a gente vai conversar com eles agora. So, Paul and Jonathan, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. Welcome to Enzima. I would like to start asking you both to tell us a little bit about your career before starting Sceenic. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Obrigado. Beleza.
Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado.
Obrigado, and very, very nice intro. I'll start off. I'm Paul. I'm one of the three co-founders of Sceenic, and currently the chief executive officer. And really, my background comes from driving change, right? And it started very early on in 1998 when I was only 17 years old. I noticed the internet was beginning, or as we called it, the World Wide Web back then. And I noticed how people were consuming music. So in 1998, whilst at school and university, I coded a website and we sold music legally online in the days of Kazaa and Napster. We were that. So I think my career and my background is noticing change and then making new products for that. Then I worked at AOL, America Online, coding ads. Then I was at MTV Viacom. MTV moved me to Argentina. And so I lived 6 years in Argentina, traveled many times to Brazil, to the Viacom office of Brazil. And so that's my career. But to summarize it, is just I'm a change maker. I notice human behaviors and try to design products for those behaviors.
That's great. So you speak a little bit of Portuguese, right? That's when it came from the beleza and the obrigado.
Not as much as Johnny.
That's great. What about you, Jonathan?
Well, first of all, thank you for the space, Felipe. I'm really happy, I think, to be here. What can I say about me? I think, I'm the chief operating officer. I'm one of the three co-founders of the company. And my background has always been, I think, business. I think that began because I didn't like to ask my parents for money when I was a child. So I was like, I need my own money. So since I was at school, I think I started I'm not gonna say I was good like drawing, but let's say that I did better than my classmates. So I started drawing and selling my draws to my to my classmates, and that's how I started basically. Then when I was a little bit grown, like I had my first company. Just starting university, I started exporting jewelry. I'm originally from Colombia, so we're neighbors. And and I started exporting jewelry from Colombia to the US market. I failed very fast, of course. I learned that the US has seasons. We don't have seasons in Colombia. You need to have that in mind when you're selling the stuff overseas. And so I failed very fast, but I suddenly like understood how business worked. Then I worked in the textile industry for a while with my mom, and then I started working in the music industry. So I was always involved with music. Like most of my family are singers, like no professional singers, but they sing, and I have quite a lot of friends now that are singers. So I started working in the music industry. That's how I met Paul when he was working at MTV. I moved from Colombia to Argentina. I lived in Argentina for around, I believe, like 6 years. And then I met Paul, and we started our previous startup or company, and here we are. Since then, I've been dealing with the boring stuff that no one wants to do, like contracts and negotiations, pricing, and all that kind of stuff. But that's what I love. So my background is basically business. I'm the business guy.
That's perfect. So we have a South American bond, right?
Yes,
definitely. Even though I was born in Poland, I feel like my previous life was from South America. Yeah, I love living there.
One of my best friends is from Brazil. He says like Brazil, selva, Amazônia.
That's great. That's great. So, guys, explain to those who don't know and are watching us, what is Sceenic? What do you do, please?
Yeah, so Sceenic is a software company. We're not a platform or a website or an app. So we're a software company, and what we provide to media companies is our Watch Together solution. Watch Together is a set of APIs and SDKs. That's how our clients integrate the solution into their own website or app or TV. So yeah, it's a software solution to allow users to be able to consume sports, video, entertainment, reality shows together with their friends when they can't be together.
That's perfect. So you mentioned the technology. I was going to ask it later, but as you mentioned, is it something that requires a lot of development, a lot of time to do that integration with the client's platforms? How does that work?
So on the technology, for our clients, we normally have seen our clients like NPO in Holland, BT Sport, more or less between 2 weeks to even 2 months being able to launch the service, right? So it's like any API SDK, right? To bring in an API, it's maybe a day or two, but then to make everything else work with it, how do you invite friends, and do they join the same room, the same session? So I would say we've done all the hard work out of, you don't have to set up media servers, it's ready to go, but it takes a few weeks to maximum 2 months, and you can really go live with the service on your OTT platform.
Perfect. And how the idea to start the company came from? Was it something that you were already thinking about it? How did that came from?
So I think as I mentioned, like, so we used to work in the music industry, entertainment industry. So I think that was the point where the company started. I probably said that was back in 2010 in Argentina, actually. So what happened back then is that we built let's say, a digital content platform. So we used to produce content for for people, for millennials, to be consumed online, right? And but the difference that we had at that time is that we started using like streaming services. So we were like doing live streamings with artists from all around Latin America. So we had a fourth co-founder, and that is no longer with the company, but he was a presenter for MTV. So due to his connections and his abilities to present, and my connections in the music industry as well, manager at that time of two rock bands, one from Argentina, one from Colombia. So we started connecting all the bands with the audience, right? So like using streaming platforms again, like, and all that interaction that we had at that time was through social media, specifically Twitter. That's where we have all our interaction, right? Then that muted into like other type of shows. We had chefs, we had makeup artists, like teaching people how to do makeup. But all that interaction was just like between the people writing on Twitter, sending photos and messages, and the presenter just doing a simple live streaming. And so it was really good. It was very innovative at that time. But as Paul just mentioned, like, he saw an opportunity, and then he said like, okay, we need to do something different, and we need to build up a different platform. And then Paul came up with a great idea, and I think Paul can take it from here.
Yeah, so Felipe and the audience watching, we have to take you back to 2010, right? This is before Periscope, nowhere near Facebook Live. There were things like livestream.com, Vimeo, Dailymotion, right? But as Johnny said, it was one-way interaction. So we would do a live stream show. People would just watch, but they would try to communicate with us, with the presenter. So they would tweet, hey, presenter, look at my photo of what I'm doing, right? And then they try to communicate with their friends. So that's where the idea of Watch Together came from. It was really those early days, starting like a traditional live streaming platform in 2010, to in 2013, I noticed this behavior. I looked what people were doing on Twitter, and I said, that's where the idea came from. And within about a year, we took it down to call it Watch Together. Yeah.
That's perfect. So I will share my screen now and show a video that you sent to me so the people can see the technology working. That's great, guys. That's great. It's really awesome. It's a really awesome technology. So I have a few questions about it. One of the questions that people ask more is about the latency. Because if you are watching, let's just say a game, a football game with your friends, how do you manage the latency so everyone in the room can watch it, synchronize it?
It's a very good problem that the industry has when you're doing co-viewing or together experiences. So latency of what you are watching comes from because of the technologies of HLS, MPEG-Dash for live streaming, right? They come with 20, 30, 40 seconds of delay. Especially between Android and iOS. So what we give to our clients, like BT Sport and NPO, we say, okay, we cannot change overnight that you're using HLS or MPEG-Dash, right? That's a very big technological change for our client. So what we say is, okay, if this is, a timeline, and Android is here and iOS is 30 seconds behind, this is Felipe and this is Paul, bring their live streams together and then keep them together. Right? Sorry about my hand. I guess I learned it in Argentina, a lot of hand movement and Latino. But that's the
Don't worry.
that's the way to really explain it, right? In without going into technical details. So we check the Watch Together SDK, checks the timestamps of the players, says, hey, Felipe is watching 38 seconds right now and 200 milliseconds. Paul is 10 seconds behind, and then our SDK tells the video players of the live stream, speed up a little bit, or Felipe, just wait a little bit for Paul, so he cuts up and we keep them together. So without going into too much detail of how our IP and that, but that's how we solve latency. For those watching this that are a little bit technical, it's on their video player front end that we solve it. We don't touch the CDN or the protocol of live streaming. And just to add, Felipe, now there are new live streaming protocols coming out, which have there's one called CMAF. It has about 4 seconds latency, and there's even new ones that have 1 second of latency on live streaming, meaning we don't have to worry anymore that someone is 30 seconds behind and someone is 20 seconds behind, because everybody is about 3-4 seconds behind. So the more the market adapts to new live streaming technologies, this manual way of synchronizing goes away.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And do you have a limitation on the number of people connected to the same room, or the number of rooms per event? How does that work?
Yes, so per room, it's right, you say room. It's room is our session with friends watching together. Our limit, technological limit at the moment is 20 people per room, okay? But most of our clients, they implement between 4 to 6 people per room. 20 people in a room is too many people. It's not personal. Maybe that's a watch party, right? And I know that's one of your questions, right? So per technological limit at the moment, 20 people per room. Most of our clients implement around 4 to 6 people per room. And we can have hundreds of thousands of concurrent sessions. So concurrency is a really big topic. How many concurrents? So at the moment, we can easily support 500,000 concurrents across many rooms, of course. So if every room has 5 people, we can support 100,000 rooms. But on demand, we can go above 500,000. But yeah, we've worked on really hard. The R&D team and our CTO has worked really hard in the last 3 months to bring more and more concurrent numbers. But that's what our technology supports at the moment.
That's perfect. And is it possible to create paid rooms where I can maybe watch a football game with a football legend? Is it something that is possible to do?
Yeah, yes, of course. It is totally possible. So, as Paul mentioned, what we sell is a set of SDKs and APIs. Like on top of that, you can build whatever logic you want to, right? So if you want to have like paid rooms, you can do that. If you want to customize the cameras, whatever you want to do. So that's really good about our technology. That is customizable, like to a very
actually to add, one of our clients in Europe is starting. We have the functionality in the SDK that influencer or a famous person can ask to come to your room, right? Rooms are private. There's nobody watching you and your friends. So already one of our clients is going to be making use, starting in September, making use of something we call knock knock, and you ask to come into to a room, and say you're a famous Brazilian sports person or a chef or a presenter. To have that. So we also have that functionality in the SDK, and it's called Knock Knock.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So I've watched an interview that you gave to the Sports Innovation Lab, Ask Me Anything series, and you gave a very good explanation, differentiating terminologies like watch commentators, watch together, watch parties, watch with. Could you give that explanation to our audience too, so they can know better about it?
Sure. So I'll start with watch commentators. It's the one I think that has been around for longest in television. You see, so I'll compare real world to virtual. So watch commentators is on television, you see 3-4 people sitting around the table discussing. In the virtual world is what we are doing right now, right? You watching 3-4 people, commentators, influencers, interviewers having that. So that's watch commentators experience. Then watch together is you watching a piece of video content only with a small group of friends, and it's to replicate what like your living room is, right? If you wouldn't invite everyone from the pub to your living room or from the bar, okay? So watch together is replicating your living room. If you'd like the person into your house, that's a friend or maybe a friend of a friend. Watch party is what I look at like a bar, right? You might go to a bar, and I've done it in Brazil, in America, in England. You go with 1-2 friends, but you are surrounded by tables of small groups of people. You don't know them, but you're part of a big watch party and everybody is looking at the TV screen. So watch party is mostly bigger groups, but the difference is it might be with people we don't know. And then watch with, or watch together with, is the celebrity. So you're watching with your friends, and a celebrity asks to join, or you pay, or you request to, hey, I want to have Neymar or a singer come to watch with me, and that's watch with.
That's perfect. So, watch together obviously is an incredible feature, but do you have other features too? Like, I don't know, maybe the ability to record the screen and maybe catch good reactions of those who are inside the rooms or polling. Do you have other features?
Recording is a tricky one because it's someone's private room. Yes, we have this functionality in the SDK. It's currently in beta, but there is a functionality for our clients to enable recording, and that might be for allowing people to save their memories. You had that moment, and you want to save that moment. But you really have to ask, the users are the final ones who say, I want this functionality. So we have it. The other one is polling, questions, widgets. We 100% believe that when you are video talking to your friends, watching together, for certain types of content, let's take in Europe, we have the Eurovision Song Contest, right? It's 30 countries in Europe sing and compete. It's like, Brazil Got Talent or America Got Talent or X Factor, but it's for the Europe. Now, in the real world, what do people do? They take a piece of paper and they say, I think Holland will have this many, Germany, this many, right? And we've seen it that people even show the piece of paper, on the screen. So polling together and questions together and widgets, it's definitely an extension to our experience. And actually, we've partnered with a company that specializes, just on that part, because we want to partner with that, but we keep our core technology. So yes, recording is possible. And then polling, we have a partner for that we work with. And then the next thing is very, very near is we want to bring virtual objects to your hands. Snapchat has pioneered this. So let's say I hold out my hand, and you see, a Pepsi can in my hand. Virtual objects, maybe trumpets. If you're watching a match, you wanna have a trumpet or a crazy hat. So those are the near-term features. I don't know, Johnny, if you want to talk about the sort of a longer vision, but I think that's another question.
We leave it for the next question.
Okay. So, Jonathan, you are the negotiation person, as you said. So, Watch Together is definitely a great technology. Even before COVID, we could see that it added a lot of value to a broadcaster. But I believe that after COVID, the value has increased multiple folds, because now not only people have social restrictions, there's social contact restrictions, but also because everyone learned how to use video chat platforms. So how the pandemic changed your plans for 2020 and going forward? Did you get more contacts for possible clients because of it?
Yes. Well, this is something that is hard to respond. Not because it's because everyone is going through a very tough moment, right? And around the world, this is something that affected everyone. Like, doesn't discriminate country or religion or anything. For us as a company, it has been really good, as you know. Like, so video was something that was becoming a behavior in people, and we saw how it grew, like, and it was growing exponentially, like previous COVID-19, of course. We have been in this market for around 10 years. So of course we saw the changes and the behavior of the, of course, COVID-19 changed everything. And I've been like having this chat with friends and sharing experiences like with some universities as well. And it is crazy, because there's no other word to call this. It is crazy that now even my grandma is using video chats, and that's the way we interact. That's the way she's able to see her grandsons and to interact with the family. So this is crazy. And for us as a company, well, of course, I have to be totally honest, it has been great. It has been great because, of course, like video calling services are in high demand, and as you have seen, and of course, this has increased substantially the numbers of clients that are reaching out to our company. But regarding what is next, what is going to happen after COVID-19 goes away, let's hope it goes away very soon. Industries such as the music industry, entertainment industry, just to mention one industry, it's going to change forever. It's going to change forever, like, because the responsibility for the organizer of events, like, knowing that probably not just COVID-19, but probably other diseases can be transmitted between people, and all that kind of stuff. Like, it of course it is big, and that's I think that's something that they probably are thinking right now, what's going to happen. So moving, like, artists from one place to a different one, we partner with another company that manage artists, and we're piloting a platform for live concerts, right? But it's not just the live concert where people are able just to see the artist. It's a live concert where people are able to interact with the artist as well. Like back in the days of our previous company, 2013, 14, when we launched the previous platform. So definitely, it's something that is changing the game for everyone, and music industry. Let's say the fitness industry as well. Like, I have many friends that right now are using services like Zoom, or to do like a yoga class, or to do like, a train with the personal trainers. We actually working with 2 personal trainers as well that are using our technology, and they have their own app. They are training their own clients using our technology. We have companies such as Mirror in the US, which they provide like it's a mirror, but it's also a screen, and they can train with personal trainers. So like the interaction is via video. So of course, COVID-19 has helped all these companies that work around video to increase their sales, to increase the number of clients that they're getting, but also I think is gonna facilitate people the fact that they don't have to commit, to go to work. Probably they don't have to spend a lot of time driving to go to the gym because they can do it from home. So it's certainly changing a lot of behaviors, and it's changing the game for everyone. So yeah, it came. I'm not gonna say in a good time, but it came in the time where people were ready to accept the change and use video services or video calling services in a better way.
That's perfect. So, do you wanna talk, Paul?
Yeah, just to add, when I looked at like when disasters have happened in the past, right? You've seen these quotes everywhere. The most innovation or advancements happens when your hands are tied, and you have to find a way, to do what you did before, but now you have your legs, hands, and everything is tied. So just to say, for example, the sport industry has been talking about remote production, right? Nothing to do with what we do. Okay. They've known there have been solutions for remote commentators, remote production. It's all been there, right? COVID came, suddenly you saw companies, even to the biggest ones, move to remote production. Because there was no other way, and sports had to be produced. And when I hear those interviews with the people who are doing sports production, they said before, I had to travel in a big truck, be away from my family for 2 days. I have a friend who covers golf events. He was sometimes away for 10 days in Portugal covering golf events, come back, his daughter is 10 days older, like you missed that. So yeah, it's something I've read and never really thought about it, that when you are pressed against the wall, you find different ways and innovation happens. So for us, to your question, like also, has it changed the plans for 2020? In a way that we know now that our technology is needed in other areas, not just to watch together videos, sports, or entertainment. Listen to music together, right? Spotify just brought out something called Spotify Together, where you can invite your friend and listen on Spotify together, like we used to do 20 years ago. Come to my house, put the CD in or the vinyl, and listen together and see the reactions and stop and play and things. So it changed the plans that we now thinking about where other industries we can go, right? Not the workplace. There are great companies doing that. Entertainment, sport, media is our area. So to answer your question, also to John, it changed the plans for 2020, where it opened our eyes to where else can we help and so forth.
Great. So, what about Latin America, Brazil? Do you have clients here already? Are you talking with someone? Can you update us about it?
So even though our heart is so engraved in Latin America, Felipe, my wife is Argentinian, right? So that's how much I didn't just go to Argentina because MTV moved me, So we always hold this place in Latin America, holds this place in the heart. And Johnny was born in Colombia. But I'll let Johnny to tell about. We've been having some conversations, even with Brazilian.
We're flirting with some companies there. We're flirting with some companies in Brazil, especially, and we are working with a client in Colombia, but it's actually is the government, and it's not for watch together. It's exactly using our technology, but for a different purpose. But now we're starting to look into the Latin American market. We didn't before because when we started, I think the technology was too expensive for Latin America, as internet has progressed in Latin America and around the world, as our technology has improved, like we have been able to bring the cost down. So now it makes more sense for us as a business as well to look into the Latin American market. So that's why we're having those conversations in Brazil, actually, because it is a very attractive market for us as well. So hopefully within the next, I'll say 6 months, you will be able to see our technology working there. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
That's great to know. That's great to know. I can't wait. I can't wait. So, guys, I want to know from you both, what do you think is the role that technology has specifically in the future of sports?
So it's not something that has come from me or I say, right? But I'm going to use an example from a gentleman called Fabrice from Switzerland. And he says that he doesn't look at the technology. It's not about, to him, whether it's VR or 5G or it's blockchain or this and that. He looks at the human behavior and what we used to do in the past, even as far as when we sat around the fire and looked at the fire and enjoyed this moment. And then but technology is an enabler of that. So for me, the role of the technology will be an enabler. But he says you have to look at the human spirit, the human species, how we are, how we like to how we like to do, and the technology will be able to facilitate some of that, right? And it might be, for example, a haptic technology where you can feel your clothes squeezing you, like as though your friend is squeezing you. 5G, which is lower latency, edge, will facilitate that. Maybe one day I will be able to have a hologram of my friend. But Fabrice always talks about, don't start with the technology, start with the human species, how we are, how we what we used to like to do, and technology is an enabler of that. But I think if I have to name one technology, is the 5G will change in sport production. It is already changing production. BT Sport was the first one in the world to show a football match produced over 5G and produced remotely. So a camera person has just a SIM card in the device and is totally free to move around. That will change production. For example, for us, faster bandwidth, then we might allow 50 people in a group, and you won't have cutouts and so forth. And I think it will hopefully soon augmented reality video calling. But again, video calling to see your friend, to have that moment, to almost touch them and feel like they're there, like what we're doing now. 20 years ago, if you told my grandparents, we will be doing this, I see your smile, I react, and so forth. So I would say I would use Fabrice's words, they're not mine, that look at the human species, how we like to do things, and that will be the future of sports and the technology in it. But I think 5G, lower latency, production, network slicing, dedicated, will allow small companies to be able to do a remote production. Yeah.
And I want to add, because what Paul just mentioned is I think is extremely important. Before, technology was always focused on stuff like, okay, I'm a massive fan of cars. So of course I've been following how the technology in the car industry has been evolving during the past like 30 years. And it has improved like amazingly. Like it's crazy what you see what a car can do right now. But I believe that technology was always focused on certain stuff. Like, okay, we're gonna take humans to Mars. We're gonna take this person from one point A, from point A to point B, blah blah blah. Right now, what is happening, and it's actually something that amazed me a lot, is that technology is starting to focus on what people feel, how humans interact with others, how we like to do things. So technologies, yes, like 5G will enable a lot of stuff, a lot of the interaction that we have, like between human beings. But also, you have to see technologies such as like AI, for example. Like that's crazy because it's starting to understand how the human behaves like in real time. It's analyzing what is happening with you. It's analyzing what's happening with your heartbeats. It's analyzing what happens with your eyes when you blink, everything. So I think all that kind of stuff will enable not just like new interactions, but also understand better how people behave and how to deliver them like content when it comes to sports, how to increase the performance in the players when it comes to football players, when it comes to rugby players or others. So definitely technology is an enabler for the sports industry, especially. Like thing is limitless what we can do with technology right now, and this is what we see right now. Who knows what's going to be like in 20 years from now, right?
Great, guys, great. So we are approaching the end now. So final question. I want to know, what is the company's vision for the next 5 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years?
So I'll answer from a product vision, and I think Johnny can answer from a business vision, or whatever he wants to add. So the vision for the next 5 years is we dreamt 7 years ago of what we call a togetherness web. Let me explain an example what I mean by togetherness web. Since the World Wide Web started in 1993, 94, 95, right? Everybody, newspapers, music streaming services, video, YouTube, Vimeo, everybody. You would watch, click share, create a link, send to your friend. They would watch in a different time and give you back their feedback. The same with newspapers. You read a newspaper. Oh, I think this is interesting for my friend in right? Music, the same. So our vision is to make the web a togetherness web, where we read newspapers together, right? It could be using screen sharing, right? I can video chat to you when you scroll the newspaper. We're talking about it together, right? Skype pioneered watch PowerPoints together. We would watch the same PowerPoint together. So that's our vision, togetherness web, and it goes with the subtitle of our company, which is Be in the Moment. But it's got to be in the context of something, listening to music together, watching a workout video together, cooking with your friend whilst watching a cooking video together, reading a newspaper together, checking the elections together. So this is our vision, that the internet, that our software empowers developers to create the internet of together experiences. Reading books to children. We just saw a new startup called Caribou, which is grandparents who don't live with the children can read the book together with the child, right? Of course, it's using video calling technologies, but it's read together. So this is my product vision for the internet. We wanna empower developers with our solution to really build the next togetherness internet.
And just adding to what Paul said, that we will enable like developers to build and create new technologies. We are starting to do so. Actually, we like with the help of Natalia, we're starting to work with universities. So basically, what we are doing with the universities is they're like hubs of innovation, right? And what the students are actually doing is taking our technology and build new experiences, new technologies that can help communities, that can help them at university as well. So we are starting to see like new use cases for this technology. So that's a perfect example of what we are willing to do, and what we want to achieve. Now, from the business perspective, you can imagine like what Paul just mentioned is just the door for more and more innovation, complementary services, complementary hardware. So I'll say that from the business perspective, as one of the Sceenic co-founders and one of the directors of the company, I see a great opportunity for us on developing hardware that will enable all the experiences that Paul just mentioned. Because reading a book together is not going to be in your iPad, it's not going to be in your computer, it's not going to be in a book. So just think about it. How are you going to read together if you're not in the same space? And now we're talking about like AR glasses. We're talking about like new devices that don't even exist, and that we partner with a big tech company from India, and we're looking for a third partner right now to exactly develop the new hardware that will complement, will enhance our technologies. So as from the business perspective, this is just looking great. The future from now.
That's a great vision, guys. So thank you so much, Paul and Jonathan, for being here. It was a real pleasure to be speaking with you and knowing more about Sceenic. It's like I said, it's a great technology that I believe that every broadcaster, every company that works with video should have, because it really brings value to their customers. So congratulations for it. And I would like to give you space to send our Brazilian audience a message now.
Brazilian audience, a message. Tudo bem, beleza, gente do mundo? Obrigado por el espacio. Sorry, the last part was that's my message. I'm really obrigado. Really, thank you for the space. We are in good advanced conversations with one or two people in Brazil. So look out. We'll be watching together soon there.
And I want to say, like, first of all, thank you for the space again. Like, this has been like amazing so far, the best interview that I've been part of. And to the people in Brazil, like, first of all, as a human to human, please look after your families, look after your beloved ones. We're all going through a very tough moment, so it's a time to come together and beat this pandemic. So this is something that we have to do all together. This is not something that the government will do, and this is something that affects someone else. It affects everyone. So just look after your families, your friends, and everyone. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll be working with any of your companies soon, and we'll be able to enable you to share like grateful moments and amazing moments with your families and friends if you're not together right now. So thank you for the space, and all the best for you all.
And I just want to add that in 2006 I went to the Amazonia part of Brazil in the north. I went for about a week We took from the border of Colombia in Leticia, we took a boat down into Brazil, into the Amazon, and I spent 9 days with one of my very good friends, Laszlo, in the Amazonian forest, seeing how people are living there. Of course, I've been to Rio, Belo Horizonte, and Sao Paulo, right? But I just also wanted to say that I've been to parts where not many tourists go, and it was an amazing experience. How people were so welcoming to strangers coming to see how they live their lives. So also, take care. We're hearing what's happening in Brazil, but it's just to everybody to stay safe, and we will get through this.
Thank you. What an amazing experience. I'm Brazilian and I never had the opportunity to go there, so I believe it is something amazing. So guys, thank you very much again. I will just speak in Portuguese now, okay? Então, pessoal, espero que vocês tenham gostado. Entrevista sensacional com o Paul e com o Jonathan. Pô, explicaram muito bem sobre essa tecnologia incrível do Watch Together. Como eu falei durante a entrevista, é algo que eu acho que todas as empresas que trabalham com vídeo, emissoras, enfim, elas deveriam ter essa tecnologia antes até da pandemia. Agora, mais ainda, é algo que traz muito valor. Eu adoraria ver um jogo de futebol em casa, com os meus amigos, dividindo uma sala com eles. Então, fica a dica aí para você que trabalha em alguma dessas empresas, entre em contato com a Sceenic, porque vale muito a pena. Eu tenho certeza que todos os seus consumidores vão gostar muito. Antes de me despedir, só lembrar a vocês que toda terça e toda quinta, às 16 horas, aqui no canal da Pluri, nós recebemos profissionais da indústria para a gente conversar sobre inovação, tecnologia, mundo digital, startups, e depois essas nossas conversas viram podcasts nas principais plataformas de podcasts, o Spotify, o Deezer e o Google Podcasts. Então, muito obrigado a vocês pela audiência e até o próximo episódio. Tchau, tchau.